Welcome to the Sexual Harassment Awareness Training. Please enter your name in the box and then press the next button to move on to Learning Outcomes and Learning Objectives. Please click on the Resource tab at any time to get additional information. Meet James. James loves working at his office. He has lots of fun and enjoys being with his coworkers. Let's follow along with James and meet them. James runs into Mary in the break room. He tells her he sure does like the way she's dressed. She's looking good. He looks her up and down and snaps a picture of her. He doesn't notice that this is making Mary uncomfortable. Phil is in his office checking his email. He sees an email from James. Let's take a look. James pops into Phil's office to say good morning. He asked him if he got the email he sent him. Phil says he did, but he thought it wasn't very appropriate. James continues on. James sees Pam in the conference room. He asked her if there's anything on his calendar today. She tells him about a couple of meetings, and then he asks her if she wants to go enjoy a nice quiet lunch, just the two of them since he has some time. When she hesitates to answer, he tells her that if she doesn't join him for lunch, she will be looking for a new job. James gets to his office where his boss is waiting and tells him they need to talk about some of James's behavior. They need to review what sexual harassment is. Sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal, written, electronic, or physical conduct of a sexual nature. The following constitutes sexual harassment. Submission to such conduct is made either explicitly or implicitly a term or condition of an individual's employment. Submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used as the basis for employment decisions affecting the individual, or such conduct has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with an individual's work performance, or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment. What is Title IX? Title IX is a federal civil rights law passed as part of the Education Amendments of 1972. It specifically prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs or activities that receive federal assistance. Title IX was recently expanded to further define sexual harassment and what type of conduct meets the definition, which we will cover in this training. Additional laws prohibiting discrimination and harassment. State and federal law, as well as board policy, also prohibit discrimination, including harassment, against employees on the basis of race, color, or national origin, sex or gender, religion, age, or disability. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 states, "It shall be an unlawful employment practice for an employer to fail or refuse to hire or to discharge any individual or otherwise to discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin." Gender discrimination is also a form of sexual harassment and violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Discrimination against an individual because of gender identity, including transgender status, or because of one's sexual orientation is discrimination and in violation of Title VII. Both victim and the harasser can be either a man or a woman, and the victim and harasser can be the same sex. What is sexual harassment? Under the latest Title IX regulations, sexual harassment is conduct on the basis of sex, and there are 3 different types of conduct that meet that definition: quid pro quo, hostile environment, and other as defined by federal law. Click on each of the pictures to learn more. Quid pro quo is Latin for this for that, or something for something. Quid pro quo is conditional, unwelcomed sexual harassment between a supervisor and a staff member in exchange for a benefit. Let's review James's interaction with Pam. He asked her to join him for a nice quiet lunch, just the two of them, and then he stated that if she didn't, she would be looking for another job. James just engaged in quid pro quo because he established the condition for Pam keeping her job based on going on a lunch date with him. Other examples of quid pro quo include your boss threatens you with the loss of a job benefit or actually changes your working conditions because you will not submit to his or her sexual demands. An employee is fired because he or she ends a romantic relationship with their boss. A supervisor threatens to make an employee's life miserable after the employee refuses to date him or her. An employee is denied a promotion because he or she refuses to date the boss. This concludes your annual sexual harassment awareness training. See you next year.